Hey folks, I don't usually buy Oscar Schmidts because I like the Washburns, but happened on this one, and it is a nice flamey top, and that's all in the finish, by the way. This is a Spruce Top Instrument, so even though it looks like flame maple, it is spruce and mahogany, so very typical. I'm trying to give you the best light. Very typical woods, just that flame finish. And this has got a really long model number. I'll put it in the video description. Rosewood board, very dark rosewood board. They keep the flame on the neck as well, which I'm wondering if that is maple on the neck, but fairly standard tuners and everything, headstock. We've had a discussion on Oscar Schmidt versus Washburn, Oscar Schmidt being one of Washburn's budget models or brands or imprints or whatever you call them. They also do the Lyon guitars, Lyon, so they have a couple at least that I know of. Oscar Schmidt is respected in some parts of the music industry, particularly with stuff like ukuleles, banjos, mandolins. I think they're fairly well respected, and they do some good entry-level student quality guitars as well. And this has the Barkus Berry system on it, which some of the Washburns have as well, which, you know, I think competes with Shadow and Fishman. It's a pretty good system. It's got the onboard tuner, digital tuner, fader, notch, treble, all that good stuff. It's a pretty decent system. I like the cut on the bridge on that, which is quite nicely done. It's kind of a thin line NEX shape, like some of the 80s Ibanez started featuring this particular cutaway shape. I think Washburn does a few like this. It's technically, I suppose, a concert cutaway with a very soft, not quite Venetian, not quite Florentine, somewhere in between there. Pretty guitar. I'm not a big Sunburst or what they call it, the yellow flame burst or something. They have a interesting description on their website for this, but you know, decent guitar. These aren't actually that cheap. I think they go around somewhere around $250, $300 for this particular guitar. Not a bad voice. And you know, with some of these companies, the distinctions between their budget and their main lines are sometimes very blurred. There are some very low-end Washburns that probably are no better than some of the mid-rangey Oscar Schmidts. I'm not quite sure what the point of that is. I've always thought it was fairly confusing, you know, when you have a company that has a couple of budget lines that has enough crossover to where they compete with each other. You're starting to see that with Fender and Squier now. I mean, the Squier vintage modifieds are what, up to 500, and the Player series are 600, something like that. I mean, that's awfully close. And it's the same with Washburn and Oscar Schmidt. I think you've got some definite crossover in the price range between the higher end of one range and the lower end of the other, which I think is a bit confusing. I mean, if I were a CEO of a company, I would want to have a definite distinction between the two brands that you can sort of market to people's consciousness, you know. But that's just the way it is with these. Not a bad guitar though. This is the Oscar Schmidt, long model number, OG10 or something. And I will put that in the description below. I've got people that have commented on my videos saying I give short shrift to Oscar Schmidt, that I should respect them more. So I'm glad I'm able to show you another one and report that it's pretty decent. I had to do a bit of setup on this. The saddle came way too high, and even though it has a bound neck, it had some protruding fret ends and some sharp burrs on there, so I knocked those off with my 3-corner file. Oiled up the fretboard, did some general stuff to it. Kept the same strings. I might switch those out. The bottom one sounds a bit dead, so I might switch that out. But other than that, it's a pretty serviceable electric acoustic, smaller body, not bad at all. So there you go, Oscar Schmidt. They're in the game. See you next time.